everybody.
Hey guys, how are you? So, welcome officially to season 2 of FYD Adventures. Feels a little bit strange calling it season 2, but I guess that's what it is. We did season 1 up the East Coast, and we're redoing the East Coast, but heading towards Indonesia. So, you know, we're super pumped, but the weather today is not great. We had a bit of a weather window that we sat down at like 7 o'clock last night, and sort of, it was like, you know, we either go today with bigger swell and 15 knots, or we go, and then tomorrow's great as the swell drops down, but there's minimal wind, and then Monday is about the same as today. So we sort of thought, you know what, because that low section sort of is moving up the coast, so we would have ended up with you know, minimal wind on the Sunday and the Monday. So we've bitten the bullet. We are heading towards Malabar, so we should be there sort of 2-3 o'clock this afternoon. We've just left Newport Marina, and yeah, if we get there and the sea state's not crazy, we might keep going all the way through to Laddie Musgrave, or we'll pull in for the night, leave tomorrow morning, probably about 5:30, which is another high again to get back out, and keep going around Fraser Island into Laddie Musgrave. So yeah.
Yes, so we're sort of a mixture of nervous, excited. It's sort of been such a long waiting game. We had basically 3 months of no sailing while I had my surgery and recovered. And then we've done a fair few really beautiful sails back and forth to Moreton, but they were all in pretty nice weather. So we've had all our works done. We have our new motors, we have replaced all the bits and pieces, rigging inspection, we've got all our new grab bag and safety gear, and something else that's new that we've been eagerly awaiting.
Oh, it's so sexy!
Spec Ups.
I've still got a smile on my face. We only got it yesterday afternoon, and I spent all night like rigging it up,
Tinkering.
so we could get it up on the davits and fuel lines, and it's magic. Such a sick boat. And on the way home from the boat ramp, I didn't even get wet. It's amazing. Catch you along the way. See you guys.
See you later, thank you. We shall see you soon. Bye guys. See you all.
Bye.
So see you in Kimberley, Dan, 4 years.
We're leaving.
See you later.
Great day for a sail.
Right boys, we'll get raincoats and jackies on, or at least raincoats. We are about 2.5 hours into our trip. We have been following the edge of Fraser Island and the Promised Stone Passage, and then we have Moreton over there. So we were expecting the waves and the winds to pick up a fair bit as we got past Moreton, but it's actually not too bad. I'm out on buoy watching duty. We've gone past about 5 floating buoys in the last sort of 15 minutes. We really don't have to worry so much anymore though, because now that we have the folding props, it's not as likely to get tangled, and we've got about 50. Huh?
You hold on up there, crazy?
No. We have about 15 knots of wind, and we're sailing between 7.5 and 8.5 knots. The sea state is meant to be about 1.9 meters, but they're quite far apart. So every now and then we get a bit of a whew, and then they sort of, the sets slow down again, but it's pretty cool. So we've got a bit of jumping around, and it's funny because this time last year is just when we were prepping to buy the boat, waiting for it to be ready to take on the water, and we would have had a similar day to this for our first trip. A bit more washing machine-y though. It was worse. Yeah, it was about twice this, and it was really like washy-washy. But
It's closer and more like steamer.
yeah, much closer, steeper waves, whereas these are lovely long rolling sets. But yeah, I wouldn't have been at the front this time last year, just bouncing around and watching boys. I would have been out the back, probably feeling a bit yucky.
Love your big jacket, man.
I love my jacket. I've got my life jacket and my harness. So I really wanted a super lightweight sailing jacket that didn't cost the earth, because they're quite expensive. And there were some on sale, the Columbia and the Helly Hansen ones, and on sale they were still about $150. And then I found this one at a workwear shop for $80, and it is perfect. So I think Dan's a bit jealous and he'll now get one. We're pretty stoked to be back on the water, knowing that it's, you know, another long-term plan. We're no longer landlocked. We're no longer stuck. It's a pretty good feeling. And the captain is happy. Are you a happy captain?
Happy, happy. Yeah, glad we left. It's not too bad out here. And the winds are 12 to 15 knots max, so to be honest, it's perfect sailing conditions. Be nice if the sun was out.
Yeah.
Can't have everything, but.
No.
What's going on, Pants? Feeling a bit unwell, darling?
The sea state has changed a little bit. So it's hard to see on the camera, but it's a bit yucky. Yeah, so I went from being relatively calm to pretty washy machine-y, and the wind swapped round from like southeasterly to northwest, so we lost basically all of our sail power and we're just bouncing around. So I'm feeling a bit queasy, and it's hard to sort of show, as per always, what the sea state is like. But there is a nice big fontaine over here, so I can probably show you what they look like. As you can see, from our boat to the water, it looks fine. When you look at another boat and show the saloon with the ocean through the windows, you can actually see how uncomfortable it is. Thanks for joining our next adventure. If you are new, please hit that subscribe button, and if you can take the time to watch the ads, we really appreciate it, as that helps us make a little bit of money to cover the costs of making these episodes. Keep watching for our first trip back on the water.
It didn't take very long for her to feel sick. I think it's always the first day back on the water where it takes them a little bit to adjust. And this won't be happening much longer, let me tell you, gentlemen. But we're easing them back in, so we're allowing them to have some devices for the day. But other than that, I'm having a great time. We're sailing in 13 knots of wind at 7.5, 13.7 knots, 6.7. So yeah, we're cruising. Loving life back on the water. I can't wait to get further north and check out Musgrave, and yeah, keep pushing on when the weather comes good. So we've just made the executive decision to bypass Malabar, which we're going past right now. And we're going to head straight around the outside of Fraser into Lady Elliot. We should get there in about a day.
Yep, basically.
A day and 4 hours or something. So the weather conditions that we can see don't change, and we're quite comfortable at the moment in about 14 knots of wind. So the boat speed's about 8 knots, and it's, you know, 1.5 to 2 meters of sea, but it's still fine. So the sea state's only getting less. It's not getting worse, which is good. So we're pretty confident that we can keep going. And yeah.
Yep. Hopefully we'll be able to pull up the public mooring buoy at Elliot.
Yeah.
When we get there in the afternoon, we'll chill and have a snooze and get up at 4 o'clock and head straight to Musgrave to go through with the tide. Fun. Our first sail back in 5 months will be like a proper overnighter, which is kind of cool actually.
Yeah, it's good.
I think it's a good way to jump straight on in and just be ready and prepared. Had I been a bit more on top of it, I probably should have had a seasickness tablet, but I think it's just that first day.
Yeah. I think it always happens. Your first day back out on the water. I mean, I've, touch wood, never get seasick. But yeah, everyone seems to get a little crook on their first day, and then after that they're fine. Lockie's normally our worst, and this was the same conditions that we had when we left last year. Except he was curled up in a ball telling us how much he hates us. Now, can't get him off the device, but at least he's not sick. And they're chatting to their friends back home, so it's fine. They're on the device, which grinds my gears, but they're busy and keeping their mind off the uncomfortable seas.
Yeah, it's been fairly rough, so the fact that they've been able to stay on their screens and with their headsets and their new microphones and chat to their friends, because it's crappy weather, so their friends are all stuck at home anyway.
Yeah.
So it's kind of perfect, it's kept them preoccupied.
Why?
Where's the other go?
I don't know, why don't you get off your bum and go and find one? Your mum's not your slave. Except the only problem is Holly's about to go and get it for him.
Only because it's a bit icky down there and I'd rather him not start feeling sick.
You're a bit icky.
I'm going to have a 1 hour nap and then I'm going to have a pre-workout. And
I'm just going to keep sitting there.
Dan will be able to have hopefully a few hours sleep before dinner time. And then I'll be up till midnight. Nighttime watch.
Hey buddy. Don't donk your heads.
He's probably on the bow of the boat, he's got hit on his back.
It's always amazing when they come on the boat, it never gets old. Hey,
every time feels like the first time.
Yeah. Still pretty messy out here, but
Yeah, nothing worse than having like an overcast day. It makes the sea look so black and ominous.
yeah. How's your new life jacket, babe?
Love it. Pretty comfy. It's hard to get on and off. Feel like it maybe accentuates some of my physical characteristics. But no, it's actually quite comfy. I've been wearing it heaps, so good purchase.
Good purchase. I'm still getting used to mine. I don't like wearing it. But it's good to see the young fella out the front. Oh. What is this creature? We've scared him off like we scared the dolphins off. He only comes out every so often. The elusive, hairy, curly-haired monster. And this one, this is like a possum. It's always on your bloody fence of a night time.
I'm trying not to wake Daniel up. So good morning everybody. We are just outside the top of Fraser Island. We didn't pull into Moreton Bay, we didn't pull into Malabar in the end. It was pretty rough but manageable, so we thought we'd just keep on going rather than risk the Malabar bar. And it is now daylight at 6 AM. I just saw a pod of dolphins, but they don't seem to be swimming at the bow today. Dan's inside sleeping. It's about 6:30, I think, and I've been up since about 2:30. We had an issue with the genoa. It got stuck, the lines got stuck around one of the winches and unraveled. So it was like the bottom was at the top, the top was at the bottom, and we couldn't undo it. So we had to cut the line and re-jig it in the middle of the night, or at 2 in the morning, which wasn't fun. Then I sent Dan off to have a sleep. So I'll get back to it. So hungry.
She's a little bit lumpy this morning. Holly held down the fort not all night, but we did 4-hour shifts, and it was just really hard to get any sleep really, but I got a little bit towards the back end of the night, which was good, so I'll be right for the day. And Holly's in there now having a little kip, and hopefully she can get some rest, because she's not great at sleeping in these conditions either. Past the most northern tip of Fraser Island, which is Sandy Cape. We've got to run quite wide and a fair way past it before we can sort of head a little bit further west. And today we're going to head into Lady Elliot instead of Lady Musgrave. We wouldn't get there until about 8 o'clock tonight if we went straight through to Muzzy. So we're going to stop at Lady Elliot. Should be about 4 o'clock, something like that, as long as we maintain 6 to 7 knots, which should be easily done when we turn the corner, because we'll probably put the spinnaker up and we should fly there.
Daniel, how much are you enjoying the longest sandbar on earth?
Yeah, this Sandy Straits is massive. It just keeps on going. Like, we're nearly towards the end now, but like, we've been on the bloody just the sandbar for the last 2 hours.
Yeah.
And we're doing 7.5 knots.
I went to sleep at what, 7:30, and we just reached it, and it's like 10:45 now, and we're not quite at the end.
It's pretty cool, but we're in like 13, 14 knots, doing 7 knots with 1 reef. Pretty happy with that.
I like to pull a reef.
We're contemplating putting the drone up, but every time there's wind, we're like, oh, this would be great footage, but the risk is too high.
Plus, it's our first big sail in like nearly roughly 4 months.
Jesus, this wave, man. It's like literally higher than the roof until it's 2 meters off the boat.
4 months basically since we've sailed more than, say, 4 hours straight. So
yeah.
To jump in after all that time and just do like 35 hours in one hit was fairly optimistic.
Yeah.
It's been fine, but it's quite it's just been quite rolly still. But
the sea state's on our beam, so it's a little bit rocky. There's the odd donkey slap.
Lots of donkey slaps through the night, which prevented us from being able to sleep.
No sleep.
It was the hard part. We both only had about maybe 2 or 3 hours sleep.
Max. So that's all right. We'll get around this marker and then
hopefully fly to Lady Elliot.
Yeah, Lady Elliot. But yeah, we're making pretty good speed. So we're contemplating putting the spinnaker up when we turn the corner. But we'd have to drop the main and the genoa to do that. So we'll see what sort of speed they give us, and if they're still maintaining that sort of speed, we'll leave them, them up. If not, we'll drop them and
swap it
fly
over.
pink bits. Jonesy hates pink bits. It's all right. It's got its new sock. We need to use it.
I know. It'll be fun. After a bit of fiddling around with the spinnaker, we get it flying nicely and have a beautiful sail to Lady Elliot Island. It's a very rolly anchorage when we arrive, and the dark clouds make finding a good anchorage difficult with scattered reefs surrounding the island. There are 2 mooring buoys. One has a boat on it already, and the second one is close to the reef and rolling waves. We decide to take our chance on the buoy. We can't see the bottom, the recommended anchorages don't look any calmer, and are a fair distance away. We are tired and ready for a good meal and a good night's sleep before heading around to Lady Musgrave and tackling the narrow entrance to the lagoon.
We were enjoying a nice afternoon beverage. We're not drinking at the moment, so it's just what is it?
You had miso soup and I had a
Miso.
cup of tea with Tim Tams.
And
On our mooring buoy
We're on
to
a
get a
mooring
full
buoy.
night's sleep because we're exhausted.
another boat's just come in, a 48-foot leopard, and has come up onto, there's no buoys left, so technically they should anchor, but they've come up onto a
little tourist
Like-
floating tyre
for
buoy.
like a glass bottom boat. It's got like a 10mm rope on it, and they've tied onto that for the night with their anchor light on, about 15 metres from us.
So we're not going to get
So
sleep.
no more sleep tonight. Be back on shift even though we're stationary. Keeping it on Muppets that don't know what they're doing. Not that we know what we're doing, but we know enough not to do that.
I think the hard part is like, you know, you come in the dark and, you know, you're a bit desperate. You try and
Yeah, you keep going, but
you do what you can, but yeah, realistically.
I'd just keep going to Musgrave. There's
Yeah.
a mooring buoy out the front of that. I'd be pulling onto that.
And then if you get there and there's no one, it's not available, I guess
That's, yeah, I guess
Yeah.
you sit out the front
stay awake for 20
with the
hours.
anchor down
Oh dear.
in 20 metres.
I believe there's 10-metre anchoring over near the other buoy, but
We did tell them that.
we did tell them that. But just fingers crossed we don't get hit tonight. Thankfully, we do manage to get a good night's sleep and lift anchor at 3 a.m. to get to the lagoon entrance for the changing tide. Thanks for watching and stay tuned as we hit some new destinations on the way up the east coast of Australia.